The topic of the October 15th, 2023 elections, which brought Donald Tusk's government to power, has resurfaced. As revealed by Tomasz Sakiewicz, the president of Republika, there is evidence that servers located in Cyprus were used to control the movement of buses transporting voters to various polling stations. As Judge Kubik pointed out in January 2024, as a result of these actions, the coalition was able to gain excessive mandates on December the 13th. In addition, the so-called Democratic side enjoyed the support of both European and American left-wing elites. The question must therefore be asked whether the recent parliamentary elections were entirely free. In October 2023, parliamentary elections were held in Poland, as a result of which Donald Tusk became Prime Minister.
Nigdy w życiu nie byłem tak szczęśliwy z tego niby drugiego miejsca.
Several factors contributed to this result. One of them was the so-called electoral tourism. It comprised obtaining a certificate from the municipal office to vote in a different location in order to cast a vote in the district which the future Tusk coalition considered most important. This is how Roman Giertych, for example, became a member of parliament. Now, Tomasz Sakiewicz, president of TV Republika, has returned to the topic. He has obtained evidence proving that all electoral tourism was managed by servers located in Cyprus, which may indicate foreign interference in the elections. This was probably done under the influence of the European Union with EU money. We will continue to develop and investigate this matter, but we also have information about hundreds of millions of dollars spent on organizations that contributed to the overthrow of the Morawiecki government. This topic was present in the media. On January the 11th, 2024, the Supreme Court ruled that the elections were legal. However, Judge Paweł Kubik was the only one to submit a so-called separate opinion on the justification of the resolution. He pointed out that electoral tourism is legal, but that the state must learn from this and curb this system in the future. This was also covered by the allegations in the election protests. As a judge, I actually learned about this from the materials contained in the election protests, which were then confirmed by the prosecutor. In general, this process involved redirecting buses with voters to specific constituencies, where there was still a chance to win an extra seat. This means that the whole process was legal, as it exploited a loophole in the law. However, the fact that the servers were located in Cyprus and the whole logistics were complicated and required a lot of work raises natural questions about the masterminds behind the whole venture. This comprehensive support, this organization that lasted several months, if not longer, makes us wonder whether it could have actually been done by people who today, in government, seem to struggle to even tie their own shoelaces. To prevent this scenario from repeating itself during the last presidential election, the opposition launched a special application that allowed for the thorough verification of certificates, allowing people to vote outside their electoral district. It immediately became a target for the ruling camp. I was viciously attacked by the Prime Minister, who attacked me both in the Sejm and in the Prime Minister's office. He even used the Internal Security Agency to file a complaint with the Prosecutor's Office about the app. The Prosecutor's Office has, of course, already dismissed the case as there was no crime involved. Donald Tusk has been the darling of Europe's left-wing establishment for years. Previously, he could count on the support of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who elevated him to a lucrative position in Brussels. Then, when the Law and Justice Party ruled Poland and Donald Tusk was ending his career in Europe, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen sent him on a mission to Poland.
Now, my dear Donald,
you are returning to your country to defend those values once again.
For those values. Bon courage, my friend.
Good luck, my friend. Remember, Donald, when we meet again, we will see you, as you yourself said, as Prime Minister.
As a Prime Minister.
EU structures unlawfully deprived Poland of funds from the National Recovery Plan and only released them, in part, when Donald Tusk became Prime Minister.
Donald!
What is more, on February the 3rd, the US House Judiciary Committee published a report entitled The Foreign Censorship Threat, which clearly shows that the European Union, through pressure on digital giants, censored the internet, as was the case in Poland in 2023. Mindful of the DSA's requirements that platforms mitigate the so-called hate speech, TikTok systematically censored conservative views on gender issues. Then, in the days before the election, the European Commission requested additional censorship of popular accounts expressing views on migration, the COVID-19 pandemic, and other topics in Slovak domestic politics. Accounts that the European Commission conceded were engaged in political debate ahead of the election. The European Commission's campaign was nothing less than an effort at narrative control, and it would soon be replicated across Europe. TikTok censored similar political speech ahead of the 2023 Polish parliamentary election. And on top of that, left-wing establishment organizations were best sponsored indirectly by the US government through USAID and the various NGOs which got their funding through the program. The money tap was turned off only when Donald Trump won the election.
Tego typu zjawisk mamy bardzo dużo.
We have a lot of these types of phenomena. They should all undoubtedly be investigated. Such an investigation is underway in the United States because American taxpayers' money was used to overthrow one of the most pro-American governments in the world, which was Mateusz Morawiecki's government in Poland. If it's not electoral tourism, it's censorship or money transfers. The great powers of this world had various ways of shaping the political scene on the Vistula. History teaches us that once before in the 18th century, similar practices ended the collapse of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. If nothing changes, nothing will stop events from producing a similar result.